We're
It's over.
back.
All right. So how stuff works? Is this going to be like History Channel, where it's kind of like half real, half not?
Wow, you remembered your line.
I did. Science explains why we have favorite colors. In 2003, one of our most beloved heroes, Buddy the Elf, you know what? Not one of my favorite heroes.
No.
Jovially answered his father's business phone call with a question. Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color? And audiences found it endearing. Buddy's dad, not so much. What a better way to break the ice than discovering your new friend's best love color? But why do we care what someone's favorite color is? Why do we have favorite colors at all? I imagine emotional attachment in some way.
I don't know.
Historically, it's been difficult to empirically explain why we have favorite colors. Research has shown that people often associate colors with feelings. See?
Mhm.
And it was easy to prove that people like certain colors. However, because there was no standardization of colors or smaller subset of colors for scientists to work with, no one could explain why we like certain colors.
Yes.
Ecological valence theory. Enter Karen Schloss. As a child, her favorite activity was to organize her crayons. It comes as wow, OCD. It comes as no surprise that today Schloss is an assistant professor in the Department of Psychology at the Wisconsin Institute for Discovery at the University of Wisconsin-Madison and has conducted critical studies on color preference. I certainly have very strong color preferences that changed over time, she says. These preferences influences a ton of decisions that we make, from the clothes that we wear to the way we color our environments to the products we buy.
Mhm.
Knowing how colors impact our daily lives, she wanted to find out why. Through a series of lab studies between 2010 and 2017, she and her collaborator Stephen Palmer, PhD, a researcher at UC Berkeley, set to find out why we like certain colors more than others. Schloss and Palmer hypothesized that the ecological valence theory, or EVT, which they describe in their 2017 paper as the theory that people like or dislike a given color to the degree that they are dislike all of the objects and entities that they associate with that color.
That
For
makes sense.
example, think so?
That makes sense, yeah.
Okay. For example, people often like blue hues because it reminds them of clear skies and clean water. On the other hand, people tend to shy away from brown hues because they remind us of feces or rotting food. That was their hypothesis. Were they right?
Eh.
Saturated blue, yada yada.
I mean,
Dark
the one
yellow.
on the right is camo, so I don't know, I kinda it depends what you're using it for.
So, color wave. To explore EVT, Schloss and Palmer conducted a series of lab studies with several separate groups of participants who ranked color preferences. What colors made them think of certain objects, and if those colors represented positive or negative things. The result, weighted effective valence estimates, aka WAVE, we found the correlation was 893 or 0.893, explained
89%.
Schloss.
Yeah, yeah,
89.3% basically.
yeah.
That means that 80% of the change in the average color preferences from one group of people to another was based on how much other people like objects related to those colors. That's really cool, Schloss continues. That's our first evidence that these patterns of color preferences can be explained by those objects associated with those colors. So they're saying that they associate people with certain colors, or people associate themselves with certain colors, and those that are similar they attract, and those that are different we push away from.
Yeah.
Okay.
It makes sense. From an evolutionary standpoint, it makes sense too, because certain things of certain colors you start to relate to certain dangers or certain benefits,
Yeah.
and then you gravitate towards that favoritism because it's an effective way of survival.
Yeah.
And then as we got more complex and our brains grew or whatever, that extended into all the ranges of different emotions and all the different colors of objects we had and all sorts of shit.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Let's continue.
It
Like a
keep it oh, yeah, it keeps going. Do you
okay.
need a break? Do you want me to go? You want me
No,
to take one?
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, take over. Lessons versus strawberry yeah, what is that? Lesions versus strawberries?
Lesions, yeah, versus strawberries, a color study. Schloss and Palmer hypothesized that color preference is caused by how someone feels about objects of that color. The idea is that if we bring to mind for you particular objects that are, say, positive and associated a particular color or negative, we should be able to change your color preferences over the course of even a laboratory experiment. To test this, they presented participants with objects associated with the colors red and green. One group saw positive red images like strawberries and roses, while other negative green images like vomit and mucus. The second group saw the opposite. Negative red images such as lesions and positive green images like forests and kiwis.
Kiwis.
What we found is that we were able to significantly increase people's preference for the colors that were associated with the positive things they saw. If you saw positive red things, you would significantly increase your preference for the red colors than if you saw positive green things. For most people, Schloss says the negative red things like lesions are gross. However, she continues to say that some of the participants could have been pre-med. So things like lesions might be fascinating to the subset of people. Their next step was to see if they could predict how much a person's preference would change based on how much that person liked the images they saw. Turns out they could. If you activate the associations of a particular object, that can have large influence on your preference for the color. By activating, she means reminding you that an object exists, basically bringing it to the top of your mind. Those objects are going to have more weight than the ones I didn't activate, Schloss explains. For example, if participants saw a positive image of red strawberries and not lesions, they were more likely to have positive association with the color red. This explains why a person may have positive or negative feelings about certain colors. It comes down to your experience with objects of those colors over time. Uh, so yeah, this is just a graphic visualization why one person might have a positive or negative reaction to color. Young
Wow.
girls tend to gravitate towards pink, purple colors because they are often exposed to clothes, toys, television shows they enjoy that use these colors. On the
That's
flip
just called
side,
indoctrination.
yeah. On the flip side, when they see vomit and other disgusting substances in the yellowish, greenish hues, they'll be more apt to turn the other when they see those colors. In fact, yellowish, greenish colors are the least liked colors across the world. Schloss says, turns out vomit is pretty much the same color for everyone and equally repulsive. So
I wonder if I
why do we like colors, D?
because
Uh
we associate colors with certain things in our life.
yeah. I used to only like neutral colors, grays and stuff because I don't like I was in such an objective mindset that like I didn't really see the need for color. Like you just needed to represent things as they were.
Right.
And that's all that really mattered because that's what it was. So everything was like deeply muted. And then I started coloring things. And I should say I started getting high. Um
Yeah.
and I started enjoying fucking colors and just dynamic changes and stuff and it opened up my wardrobe, it opened up my art, it opened up I ended up gravitating to all this wiggledy figgledy shit, and it coincided with my use of color in art and stuff. It was kind of
I
weird.
like that. You can almost watch your mind open up.
Yeah, color gives a big dopamine hit. See, and I was an angry young boy, and I didn't like color. And then I I kind of changed it.
I've always I like grays. I do like grays simply because you can put anything with them as a general rule.
Yeah, I like.
But
I found out though more than gray. I
I
like
like greens and blues.
I like contrast.
Really?
I like contrast.
Contrast is cool. I do like as long as it's done. I mean, you can't just go blatant contrast. Sometimes it doesn't look good. But if you're gonna go contrast, it's gotta look good.
If it doesn't
Certain colors.
if it doesn't look good, it's not contrast.
Well, I mean, oh no, you can contrast different colors and it still not look
Only
bad.
s- o- Only certain colors properly contrast. That's the thing. You have to pay attention to the hues. There's a whole color theory.
Right.
It's crazy. Uh
That's the PCP.
yeah.
No, I've never done PCP. I
No.
don't think I ever would.
I think I was chased by someone who was doing PCP once though. That was terrifying.
I've heard that story.
You've heard that story. Yeah.
Poor girl.
Rip. Sorry you decided to sit on the train when the guy was still trying to kill us. Got my ass off that. Please stand clear of the closing
No,
doors.
PCP wouldn't be in my wheelhouse, D. That's not in my will. I mean,
No.
I don't even. It's not even a psych. I mean, it is a psychedelic, but it's not a good psychedelic.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think part of the thing with the colorblind glasses and that reaction, Ponrick, is that their view of the world has been so muted that even just a splash of color is enough to blow their fucking mind.
Oh,
Um,
100%. I've seen
because
those videos
it
Paul
adds a
talks
whole
about.
new definition. Like when we got my dad the colorblind ones and we're outside and he's wearing them and he's like, wait, there's different greens in the trees? It's like, yeah. There's purple. He's like, he had never seen like purple. Like it was just like it was mind blowing to him.
Yeah. Well, even going like Ponrick says, it's all. I think humans have always been that way. When you go back and look at cave painting, it's not just charcoal on the fucking cave wall.
No, there's colors and dyes and
Yes, there's
yeah.
colors, dyes, and things like that involved.
No, color does bring, yeah, I see. It doesn't, no, it doesn't negate the idea that color brings joy, but I think it's it's not just that. I don't think it's just I don't think it's just color. But it might. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. Um
But I played one on TV.
yeah, I play one on the news. I can say that the idea is that color preferences act as a steering function that guides us toward things that are positive for our general health and well-being and away from things that are negative.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Look at all the stuff we did to get dyes and pigments. It's wild. There's a great book called The Secret Lives of Color. Yeah, we didn't have blue for a very long time. Like there just wasn't blue for a huge portion of human history. Like we invented blue. It's kind of it's awesome.
That is
Um
interesting.
yeah. Color choices can impact healing times in hospitals for sure. I can choose the color of the case of my cell phone, any color that I want, and so there are those arbitrary aspects of it. But the idea is that we have this learning mechanism to learn associations between colors and objects or concepts, and then use those to inform our judgments about colors. This could be something that may have been adaptive for us to have. You think?
Yeah.
You don't think eating the berry that makes you fucking shit your pants? You want to know that color?
You
Yeah.
remember that, Barry?
Yeah, you remember that shit. Like,
Yeah.
and you remember the
And how
color.
it's just slightly different red than the other berry that doesn't make you shit your pants.
Yeah. Oh, yellow. Yellow's an amazing color. How do you have a color you don't like? Like they all just they have their purpose. Like I used to apartment I lived in New Jersey. It was it's like an old German town or whatever. It still had the tin ceilings and shit. It was super cool. But like the kitchen was yellow, the living room was orange, the bathroom was a green, and the bedroom was blue. Like if you ever like had a mood you were stuck in and you just needed to zap out of it, you just go sit in the other room. Like
The very first house. Oh shit! I unplugged my headphones by accident. Hold on.
oh good, he can't hear me talk shit. Tog, you suck. Fucking scrub.
Okay, I'm back. So, so the first house A Squared and I ever had, that's how it was. We were renting, obviously. The bedroom was a dark red. The living room was a yellow. One of the rooms that was just like an extra room was green, and then the two guest bedrooms were blue, and then the bathrooms were like a seafoam green.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so good for your mood. And like even having like an accent wall or something like that, just to change up what you're looking at or to draw attention or to change the shape of a room. Like you can by using contrasting colors or similar colors or one solid color or a gradient of colors, you can change the shape, the perceived shape of space itself, which can greatly change your psychological state. Like
Oh yeah.
it can make you cozy, it can make you like expansive and feel small. It can squish you in and make you want to move. It can make you want to explore. It can do all of these things, and then you start to incorporate light into all that, and then sound, and then like
Oh.
all of these. I don't know. I'm just getting excited about environments.
I wonder if my brother knew what his future was going to hold when he wanted his walls to be gray and the trim to be black when he was a kid.
Sounds like prison.
Yeah, he spent a lot of time there.
Yeah, that's why like you have like really like you can have rainy towns and there's a high level of depression. And then you can have towns that are built out of concrete and have a high level of depression. But then when you have
It's all
rainy towns
Made
made
of
of concrete, and you have massive uptick in suicides. Like, it's bad.
You laugh, but damn.
It's true though. The way we shape our environments, the way colors affects our psychology, the way we perceive space, and what that means to us, and our associations to those things can kill you. It's fucked up. I
You know,
find that
Pawn Rook, I believe that. I believe like she was about like I'm sorry, like you were about to say something about McDonald's
yeah,
telling people ate and left faster if they had red and yellow around. I believe I am not a fan
it's
of bright
stimulating.
reds as a general rule.
It's stimulating. It's a high frequency color. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot more to process. I think it comes down to processing. Um,
But yet they say red light is better for you than blue light, at nighttime.
yeah, well, that's kind of higgledy figgledy because
So I
basically
use purple.
basically we've evolved over time. Basically, when the sun goes down, it
Right.
it goes to a more blue light or a more red light, and then it goes to night, and we fall asleep.
Right.
It messes with
Our internal clock.
our internal clock, and what's the drug? The sleepy time, melatonin. It
Melatonin.
inhibits our melatonin production. And
Yeah.
blue light, the sun coming up, it's kind of a bluish hue or whatever, that wakes us up. Um,
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about, Pawn Rope. Red light fatigues your eyes less, so they use it
yeah,
at observatory. So yeah, so because I was for a long time, I sat, I would use the light blue light in here, but then it would kill my eyes, so I had to swap it to red or purple.
yeah. It's crazy. How much more? Oh, that was the end of it. Yeah. So while having a favorite color isn't a life or death choice for modern humans, answering Buddy's icebreaker question, "What's your favorite color?" can offer us more useful into our likes and dislikes than we previously thought. More insight, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's what they meant to say.
colors are fantastic. I love color. I mean, this is look at the orange, and is she a redhead, or is that just influenced by the orange?
She looks like a redhead.
She looks like a redhead. She's wearing a green shirt and she's ready to cut an orange. Brutal,
Nice.
brutal. So yeah,
Up
what?
next,
Yeah, up next. That was a 17-minute one. That was bad.